This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
I've never felt like this before. It's like you just get me. I feel like my true self with you. Does that sound crazy? And it doesn't hurt that you're gorgeous. Okay, that's it. I'm taking you home with me. I mean, you can't find shoes this good just anywhere. Find a shoe for every you from brands you love, like Birkenstock, Nike, Adidas, and more at your DSW store or DSW.com.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Oh, tasty high note. Oh, hi, don't mind me. I'm practicing my new baritone sax. I just heard PayPal's paying for people's stuff every day for 100 days, and there's 10 million up for grabs. All you have to do is use PayPal checkout online. So there's never been a better time to buy a few things off the old wish list. Like this leaf blower! PayPal could pay for your purchase. The Great PayPal Checkout.
No purchase necessary ends July 18th. See official rules at paypal.com/thegreatpaypalcheckout/terms. Participating merchants only must use PayPal checkout online. Coverage of up to $100 and eligible purchases per card.
In the 2025 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Donovan Jackson, guard, Ohio State.
Hey, can I get a Baru, the skull Baru, before we get a howl, Mr. Nordquist? No, from you. We need to hear it from you because you got the pipes, boy.
Gerbil shifting. Hang on.
Hey.
No, I can't do it.
But that's okay.
I can't get the horn.
You got the horn. You nailed the horn, just like the Vikings stuck 24 with Donovan Jackson. That's the name, and road grading is the game. Donovan Jackson is the name, and keeping J.J. McCarthy clean is the game. On guard, Vikings fans. We have a new player in the Covenant, and that player is Ohio State offensive lineman Donovan Jackson. Welcome to the Friday Football Feast. This is the final Friday Football Feast for the co-host Paul Charchian. After a decade and one half of football feasting, he and his wife are moving to Utah to master the art of secret handshakes and the wearing of weird garments. And last night was your final draft party show. Good morning.
Well, don't go that far. We don't know that for sure.
Well, I do.
Really? Are you going to uninvite me to future ones?
How do you feel?
How do I feel?
How do you feel right now?
Yeah, we need to know what kind of vibe this show's going to be before we lay anything out further.
Well, first of all, it's the day after draft day, so of course I'm excited.
Yeah, I know.
My favorite team just got better. Donovan Jackson will help and most importantly, anything that helps J.J. McCarthy become the franchise quarterback we've been waiting for, the young franchise quarterback we've been waiting for, I'm in on. So very excited about that. I am leaving for Utah. Secret handshakes, double, triple the wives with all of the pain and agony and no more sex.
Double, triple the maintenance if none of it works out. But anyway,
triple the maintenance. Yeah, looking forward to that too. We are leaving for Utah, but that doesn't need to be the A topic here. And I do plan to have stick my head in the door regularly. I want to continue to join this show often, but I will not be. It'll be a little bit trickier to get to the Oakdale Buffalo Wild Wings in week 1 for the Friday football feast. That part is going to be a little bit trickier.
Monticello is not that far from St. George.
That's right. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Welcome to the Friday football feast. Word from Kevin O'Connell coming up shortly. How do we feel about Donovan Jackson? How does everybody feel about the solidification of the old Minnesota moving company? Talk back time. Get on in here. It's the free iHeartRadio app. On the microphone, you got 30 seconds and the bet's settled. What do you think of the Beefeater, Donovan Jackson? Is there anybody that was taken behind him that has caused you consternation and cost you sleep last evening into this Friday morning? But the draft, round number 1, Donovan Jackson, 24th to the Vikings. We would love to hear some of your talkbacks, and we will begin playing those at about 9:40. Free iHeartRadio app, baby microphone, 30 seconds, bet settled. Charch and I did a lot of yammering last night at the stadium. The producer of 9 to Noon is Eric Nordquist. So how do you feel about this accomplished Beefeater with all the Buckeyes on the helmet? And good morning.
Good morning. I'm really excited about it. We have spent the last several weeks really focused on 2 players in particular with the offensive line. Donovan Jackson had been somebody that we had mentioned kind of an O-lineman of the day like fashion. Does a 30 visit here and all of that. So aware of him. He's on the radar. He's on the map. But of course, the conversations ultimately kind of trickled their way up the hierarchy to Booker and to Gray Zabel. Both those became non-options earlier in the draft. So you stick and pick at 24 with Donovan Jackson. I absolutely love it, PA. I love that the name may have changed from who we settled in on nearing the draft, but the focus of improving the offensive line did not change. And I had sent you a post last night, and I'm on couch duty with the baby watching the draft. We take Donovan Jackson, and I saw this come through from, I think it's Pat Leonard, who covers the Giants for the New York Daily News. And he noted that because immediately after Donovan Jackson is taken by the Purple, Houston's out of their spot. They're gone. Yep. And the Giants moved up 9 spots from 34 to 25. Ultimately, they take Jackson Dart. What did they give up to move up? They gave up a pick 99, very late third, just a couple behind the Vikings. And then I believe a future third was how it was framed in Leonard's tweet. And maybe that is solidified or materializes into something specific later on. My point is I'm thinking to myself, the Giants did not have to pay very much to move up 9 spots into the later stages of the first round and get quote unquote their guy, right? So Abdul Carter, 3rd overall, and then they get Jackson Dart. The other end of that, from my perspective, is the Vikings would not have gotten a ton in return to stiff arm the first round and wait to see how things flesh out early on Friday. So if Kwesi and the Vikings, who had apparently, and we'll hear it from the coach, we'll hear it from some Donovan Jackson clips and his visits and conversations with the Purple, they had done a ton of work on Donovan Jackson, even to a year ago when there was potential he would declare for the draft. So they've known about him for a while. Yep. If they love this guy, I am in love with them sticking and picking. Because as soon as Donovan Jackson is taken, ultimately you see Houston back out, a team that wanted O-line. You see the Rams behind them. I mean, my goodness, move up 20 spots, give up next year's first, the Falcons. Whoa. But you see those teams back out the way they did. You think about the Chiefs potentially being in an O-line needy spot. They end up do a late deal at the end of the draft with the Eagles. The value of the return did not dictate for me that it would cover the risk of potentially losing out on a guy that they love and the way that they've talked about Donovan Jackson. So in a draft where it was like trade back. We're feeling that vibe, and we're just hoping that works, and we're just picturing this mountainous return, and we want all these top 70 picks in return for this. in the end, clearly based on that Giants currency move, that was not an option. So in the end, you risk moving back for very little in return and not getting the guy you wanted. I think Kwesi absolutely kicked booty last night in just sticking and picking, and I think he got a really good player.
Mad producer gives it one of these. What about you, Charchie?
Great points. The fact that Houston moved out suggested they may have wanted Donovan Jackson. They need offensive line help desperately. That's the state they're in right now, and especially with various moves that happened in the offseason. It's a disaster across the Houston offensive line, and I wonder if Donovan Jackson being taken wasn't enough to get them to go, well, we got to move down. And to the point that Nordo made, you're right. They didn't get that much.
No.
I mean, I was shocked. This was clearly a buyer's market, not a seller's market. So I'm with you on all the points you made. Glad the Vikings stayed at 24. You can't argue with solidifying the offensive line, especially at the guard position. We've been making do with remnants at that spot for far too long, and really, just anything that helps J.J. McCarthy helps this team, and this was one of the handful of things you could have done that increases his chances of being a successful franchise quarterback.
Alabama guard Tyler Booker, 12 to Dallas.
Wow.
NDSU guard Gray Zabel, 18 to the Super Chickens. Settling for an Ohio State guard isn't a bad thing, is it? Remember Wyatt Davis in 2021?
I always love that one.
Conference O-lineman of the year.
It was quite a Big Ten player of the year. I mean, holy cow, that was quite the game changer. But seriously, 40 starts for this Buckeye.
Yep.
Donovan Jackson, big-time battles with Michiganders Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant. And last evening, when we had a chance to discuss Donovan Jackson with Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell, that's where I began talking about his battles against those Michiganders. And KO, thanks for joining. What's up?
Yeah, great to be with you guys. Appreciate all the great Vikings fans filling up U.S. Bank Stadium tonight. We're very, very excited, PA, about Donovan Jackson. I mean, we wanted to continue the theme of this offseason, really, where we've been really attacking the interior of our offense and defensive lines. And Donovan was a guy we identified pretty early, brought him here on a 30 visit. National champion, All-American, all the college accolades you can have. A guy that played a ton of football for them, 40 starts, even jumped over at left tackle, in a week's notice and had to block the third pick in the draft tonight and did a dang good job at it. So, we see Donovan as a huge impact player for us inside, big, strong. He's got length, the ability to, be equally effective in the run and the pass phase. This is going to be a huge addition for us considering some of the things we already did in the free agency. I feel very, very good, PA, about our offensive line.
You talk about some of those physical things, but it seems like when you watch him on tape, he has that edge and he has that attitude as well, and plays with a chip on his shoulder and all those things. How much did that go into to factoring with his grade? Was just the way that he plays the game from a physicality standpoint and attitude standpoint?
Yeah, I think it's a great point, Ben. I mean, that play style shows up on the tape. It showed up with the way they were able to play, as an offense at Ohio State. And I think Donovan was a huge part of it. He's very lethal, at the point of attack. They ran behind him a ton, physical, getting movement on that front. But then you're right. It's that second level finish. It's that, playing through the echo of the whistle kind of mentality that when we brought him here on the 30 visit, talking to him about that, it means a lot to him. It means a lot to play with that play style. And really, like I said, it fits with some of the other guys he's going to be playing next to along our offensive line. It fits with the mentality we want our football team to have. And really now, another, former national champion being added in the first round for our team. It's, there's something to that. Guys that have played on that stage and guys that have had the kind of success and career a guy like Donovan Jackson's had. We know he's going to show up here ready to have an impact and hit it off here on his visit, like I said. And hopefully you can tell how excited I am about this.
All right, Pete Bursich, then Paul Charchian, then we say goodbye to Kevin. Pete?
All right, Coach, Donovan Jackson had a 3.85 GPA, the highest on the team, right? You mentioned, he's brawny, right? He's big, he's strong, squatting 600, benching 500 something. Does he have the football smarts too to go along with the book smarts?
Yeah, I mean, you could tell within about 5 minutes of talking to him, the command he had, the way he was able to, really kind of run the show, even at the guard spot, and when he kicked out to tackle, the ability to do that and the amount of time that he did after so much time playing at the guard spot throughout his career, and then the team needed him. He stepped in there, and really what has turned into, his year going into the draft, just the selflessness to do that. And then you talked about it. I mean, the football intelligence. You sit down and you spend any time with this guy, it jumps out that he's smart, clearly tough. The play style's there. Exactly what we were looking for to add an addition to the group that we're putting together up front, which I hope Vikings fans are pretty excited about.
All right, Charchy, let's wrap it up. Last one.
All right, Kevin, what would you want to see from Donovan Jackson to give you the confidence to start him when the time's ready?
Yeah, I think it's going to be, really capitalizing on the spring, making sure he can come in and understand, our offense is going to be different than what he's coming from. I know, obviously, spent time working for Chip Kelly in the past. Ryan Day, know those guys very, very well, and they speak so highly of his ability to make that transition, Charch, but it's going to be something where really setting the table for training camp by what he does when he arrives here, starting tomorrow morning, hopefully we get him here as soon as possible, but we'll let him enjoy it for tonight, and then we go to work and we go start seeing what that looks like. But I can't wait to see him in a Vikings uniform, can't wait to see him out there competing and getting in the mix with the rest of those guys who are going to form a heck of a line up front, something that has been really a goal of ours and a mentality for this whole offseason to really impact our whole team, and we've seen that. So very excited to get him here. Donovan Jackson's a Minnesota Viking, and that's a very good thing.
Last one quickly, Kevin. The fortification of the trenches. I mean, whether it's Justin School, Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, Javon Hargrave, Jonathan Allen, and so on, that clearly was an A topic this offseason, right? Fortifying your trenches and moving forward.
Yeah, I just think the way our team's built, the way football games in the NFC North have really started to play out, at such a competitive level. We want to be able to win that line of scrimmage. We want to get those tough yards. We want to be able to go forward when we want to go forward. And I think these guys that we've put together and really the type of additions we've made and then the depth we're going to have as well, that's really been the goal the whole time. And to pair that with the Aaron Jones coming back and Jordan Mason, Josh Oliver's one of the best blocking tight ends in football, C.J. Ham at the fullback spot, you really start to see however we want to line up, whatever personnel grouping we want to line up in, we're going to run the football. And that's only going to help, what has been the strength of our team with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and Hawk and Jalen Naylor to be able to throw it. And we're going to throw it versus some looks that will be conducive to throw the ball against once we're able to run the football the way we think we're going to be able to do it.
You're the best, my man. Thank you very much for the time. Best of luck Friday and Saturday, okay?
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you.
KO, Kevin O'Connell. Now, the Wolves play tonight. You didn't have a Baru in you, but can I get a howl?
Oh,
Can we get a second to none howl for this series tied at 1 this evening and Pinchy? Yeah.
Well done.
Holy cow.
Wow, the sustain on
Nice
that.
job.
Very, very good.
Cuffing and claps, Matt, producer.
I'm out until 10 a.m., guys.
Cuffing and claps, my brother. With Kevin O'Connell, with his new deal and Coach of the Year honor, part of the plan, part of the deal with having him on the Vikings draft party show last night was not telling him that we were in AM.
I always love that one.
Coaches of the Year sound better in FM.
I always love that one.
The only AM radio he probably does is Chad Hartman at CCO. The draft show skipped over to AM 1130 because the Wild commandeered the FM flamethrower. Winning sounds better in FM. And what a win that was last night against Las Vegas. To discuss that and more, Radio Joe O'Donnell, play-by-play voice for the Minnesota Wild, joins 9 to noon around the corner. Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, general manager for the football team, 1 hour and 13 minutes from now. Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, about an hour and 13 minutes from now in the business we call at 10:30. All of that is courtesy of TimberTech and TimberTech.com. That's part of What's on Deck 9 to noon today. Also, What's on Deck, the cash thing. We got some money to give away, talkbacks to disperse later. The getting is good in the love covenant on this Friday, and here comes the con.
The Fan, along with BigDeck.com, want to give you a chance to put $1,000 in your hand with the National Cash Contest. Use the keyword check. Mike Checka 1212 at KFAN.com. The keyword is check. You might win $1,000. KFAN.com. Good luck.
Spring into savings during Blinds.com's Spring Black Friday sale, happening now. Freshen up your home with brand new custom window treatments for less. At Blinds.com, shopping online for custom window treatments doesn't mean sacrificing on service, selection, or style. As the #1 online retailer of custom window treatments, Blinds.com has hundreds of options to fit any decor and budget. Choose from stylish roller or bamboo shades, blackout options, and more. We even have motorized shades for your patio, DIY, or let our experts handle the heavy lifting. Blinds.com has you covered with free virtual consultations. We'll even send a pro to do the measure and install. Try before you buy with free samples delivered to your door. With over 25 million windows covered, every order's backed with Blinds.com's 100% satisfaction guarantee. Shop Blinds.com's Spring Black Friday sale now for up to 50% off site-wide, plus a free professional measure. Save up to 50% at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Get your mother-loving ears on because your big-time radio DJ's got news. PayPal lets you choose how you want to pay for all the stuff. With PayPal, I can pay in-store, pay online, or pay over time. What's that? You want this translated into song? I hope you're sitting down. You can pay your own way. You keep those ears on, you hear? Don't just pay, baby. PayPal.
Learn more at PayPal.com.
Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/iHeart. Greenlight.com/iHeart.
Hi, I'm Cindy Crawford, and I'm the founder of Meaningful Beauty. Well, I don't know about you, but I never liked being told, oh, wow, you look so good for your age. Why even bother saying that? Why don't you just say you look great at any age, every age? That's what Meaningful Beauty is all about. We create products that make you feel confident in your skin at the age you are now.
Meaningful Beauty. Beautiful skin at every age. Learn more at meaningfulbeauty.com.
Welcome back, 9 to noon. I just wanted to give everybody listening a quick reminder. You can watch everything that's happening in our studios today. You can see PA and Charch and our upcoming guests with KFAN.com/watch. Our draft party and draft coverage has been brought to you throughout all of this by Heating and Cooling 2. That's heatcool2.com to learn more. Thank you to those guys. Thank you for listening and maybe watching via KFAN.com/watch.
43 to go. Charging back in Stone. Got it to Carlson. Someone in front. Kick save. Gustafsson with his left pad. And Bogosian to the rebound. Charges it all the way down. Foligno's going to win the foot race. Empty net. He scores! Marcus Foligno! And that should do it in Game 3 as the Wild with a short-handed empty netter to make it 5-2 Minnesota.
Wild Joe O'Donnell.
It's time to drop the puck.
He is the radio play-by-play voice for your Minnesota Wild, your red-hot Minnesota Wild, that is. And we welcome Joe O'Donnell to the Friday Forechecking Feast. Oh, holy cow. I can see Joe right in front of me now on the stream. That's a beautiful sight there. What's going on there, Mr. Philadelphia Eagles fan?
This is a little different, PA, but appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, for sure. We have Paul Charch in here also. It's the Friday forechecking feast in case you stop scoring at home. And,
what's up, Charch?
Hey. And as I was driving home from the draft party, turned on the game, very curious what was going to happen. And I caught this moment, Joe. It was 4-1, and I'm thinking we're going to coast to victory, and then we get a power play opportunity. And then I'm thinking, well, this thing's about sealed. There's like 9 minutes left in the game. Like this is going to be ours. But then, as you know, shorthanded goal. Then they go on the power play. Then they go on the power play again. And there was you could hear the tone inside the building changed. Your voice changed. There was a real moment there where I thought this thing could turn ugly.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy series, no matter however you want to unpack it, right? Like the Vegas Golden Knights, 2 years ago, Stanley Cup champions. They have like 15 returning members from that team. They've got guys with, I think, 3 players with multiple cups. So to beat them 4 times in a best of 7 is going to be a challenge, no matter who the opponent was for them. I mean, like they won 50 games for a reason in the regular season. So to give them any life at all in that hockey game, you knew the momentum would shift several times. The Wild didn't have the momentum. They were hemmed in. They were battling their butts off, but end of the night, they got it done. They've got a 2-1 series lead, but certainly to your point, when you go on a power play with 10 minutes left and you're up a few goals, you're thinking this could be lights out, and then all of a sudden it was anything but.
Joe, we can view you via the StreamYard, and it's a wonderful sight. You have baskets hanging on your wall behind you. I mean, is that in those baskets? Do you put fish and loaves of bread and walk around XL Energy Center and feed the state of hockey?
So if you ever swing by the gated community here in Edina, PA, we have a lot of plants. My wife loves plants.
Oh, wow.
So sometimes these baskets have plants.
Yeah. Is she around?
She is. I just said to her, she just came back from dropping one of our kids at school, and I said, we got to get a wall.
Yeah.
Like, I need a wall, you know?
Yeah, but I have a question for her.
It's either plants, windows, baskets, or clutter is what I said to her. I'm like, I need like a podcasting wall.
Yeah,
because
is it possible for her to jump on this thing for just 10 seconds, then we'll talk about the Wild? I mean, I have a serious flower planting related question that's causing me consternation right now. See, I'm OG. I'm the original gardener. So therefore,
you're being requested.
Yeah, I'm OG, original gardener. I have a serious question here.
We have such a big house, it might be hard for her to hear you, or for me to hear her.
I'm just trying to get a fish out of one of those baskets and then complain that you didn't give me enough. Yeah, it's a zinnia-related question. Yeah, she doesn't mind.
She has not shown up yet.
Okay. Well, if you could ask her, I planted 45 zinnia seeds 2 days ago. Okay. And now we've gotten this amount of rain with no sun. And granted, the lows are only around 38, 40, 42 in the evening, which should be zinnia proof. So they grow and they start popping in a few days to a week and change. But I'm starting to worry that there's a little too much rain here for these zinnia seeds. What does your wife think? Did I make a mistake?
I'm going to write all this down here. I need to find a piece of paper. Zinnias?
Yep, zinnia, ZINNEA, 45 zinnia seeds. And I may have planted them a little early. So if you can
I'll get back to you.
Thank you. And I'm OG, the original gardener.
And don't take it personally that she is not
Ain't no big
showing
deal.
up on camera here.
Ain't no big deal. Hey, 0 points so far from Vegas's vaunted Eichel-led top line. What's playing into that?
4 names. Well, you got to give everybody credit, right? Between Gustafsson and the forwards as well, because it's a collective team effort. But Brock Faber, Jonas Brodin, Jake Middleton, and the captain, Jared Spurgeon. I think everybody saw at the Four Nations face-off how good Brock Faber was when he was playing with Carolina's Jacob Slavin. We know internally how good Jonas Brodin is. He got, obviously, some shine at the Four Nations as well. Middleton's been such a good piece to the puzzle back there since they acquired him a couple years ago, and Spurgeon is Spurgeon. And they're making it really hard on just the little plays that guys like Brodin and Faber make, whether it's a shot block or chipping a puck out of a corner. Same for Middleton and Spurgeon. They're doing a lot of the little things right now. There's not a lot of free ice for Jack Eichel and Mark Stone. To be honest, Stone looks a little slow out there. He doesn't look himself, right? You think about this great two-way player that tore up the playoffs 2 years ago. There hasn't been a lot of that. I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know if Eichel's hurt. we'll probably never find that out until the playoffs are over for both teams or either team. But the Wild can't get comfortable. They've had a 2-1 series lead now in 3 straight playoff series that they've been in, and they've had a playoff series lead at some point in 4 straight playoff series, and they haven't advanced out of the first round since 2015. So I get a vibe, PA, that this group is different about their approach. I talked with Marcus Foligno yesterday before Game 3 about that. I said, hey, Moose, I felt like after the Game 2 win in Vegas, it seemed very businessman-like. It seemed very professional. It wasn't super celebratory. And he agreed. He said it's a more focused group, a more mature group than they've been in the past. He goes, look at how we got in the playoffs. We had to win pretty much every game the last 2 weeks or, grind it out for a month to get in. He feels like this is a team that wins a game and turns the page. They know who they're up against. It's kind of what he said. They know what the Vegas Golden Knights are capable of and all their Stanley Cup pedigree. So I don't think this Wild team is going to take a 2-1 series lead for granted, and they better not, because Saturday afternoon I expect, again, Vegas to make a push and have their best game of the series.
Well, and they might need to. Game 4 coming up Saturday, 3:00 for the Wild. Joe, how much better is Matt Boldy when he doesn't have the pressure of having to be superhuman, when we've got Kaprizov back and he's surrounded by other players? It feels like this is the Matt Boldy we want to see.
Yeah, you're right, Charch. And I don't know if it's the pressure of not having Kaprizov in there. I had the NHL dig this up for me at the end of the regular season because I knew the heat was turning up on Boldy because he wasn't scoring a ton.
Yeah.
And the team was fading, and were they going to get in? His numbers without Kaprizov in the lineup in March and April in his career, which should be crunch time if you're trying to get in the playoffs, are basically like a point a game. And this season, half the year was without Kaprizov, and Boldy led the team in scoring. So I get that narrative in some ways because you expect Boldy, if he doesn't have 35, 40 goals, you think it's a down year. But he carried them a lot this year, and it just kind of went under the radar because they maybe weren't eye-popping numbers. But he is playing like a man possessed right now. You load up on that top line with Eriksson, Boldy, and Kaprizov. We saw how good they were at stretches last year, arguably the best line in hockey. But you always wonder if you load them up in a playoff series and they're not producing, can you get offense elsewhere? Well, so far they are producing, and you're getting offense elsewhere, and it's a big reason why the Wild have a 2-1 series lead, and Boldy's been at the forefront of all of it.
Joe, when we were at U.S. Bank Stadium doing the Vikings draft party show, they were super cool. Like during picks, they were putting the Wild game on those big screens at U.S. Bank Stadium, and we caught the second goal, so they're up 2-0. And then as we're chatting on the radio, we get word. I was told Gus gave up a softie to make it 2-1. Then I watched the highlight. Okay, there was no screen. Petrangelo's shot was a bomb. Holy cow, did he unfurl one? So, right, he probably should have saved it for sure. But, then when I caught up with NHL Network and stuff last night with the highlights, some of those saves he was making in the third period, holy cow, he was Brodeur-like in the third period, wasn't he?
Yeah, but that's the Gus that we've seen. He looks calm back there. It kind of makes it look easy. The glove save on Eichel was vintage Fleury in a way, where he flashed the glove and kind of did the windmill. We don't see that from Gus much. He's always in such good position that when he makes a save, he kind of makes it look routine. But the highlight you played coming into this segment, that kick save on Carlson and tight, and then the empty netter wins it seconds later, salts it away seconds later. He was really, really good down the stretch. He was really good late in game 2. And again, that's what you're going to get. When you're in a playoff game, you're getting the other team's most desperate hockey when you have a lead on your opponent late. If Vegas is leading game 4, I'd expect the same thing from the Wild. Pucks to the net, bodies to the net. The hardest thing to do is to eliminate an opponent. The Wild still have to get 2 more wins to do that, and that's just round 1. So I think they're learning a lot right now about themselves. I think they have great trust in Gustafsson all year long, and I really believe that the way he plays so calmly in net at times is massive for this team, especially the start of game 2 where they were under siege in T-Mobile Arena, and then to turn the page quickly after giving up a bad goal by everyone's estimation. That was a goal that you don't see much in the NHL. It was a clean look from 50 feet away, a slap shot off the rush. And Pietrangelo got good wood on it, as they say, but Gus stops that in his sleep. He didn't, but the fact he was able to bounce back and only give up one more the rest of the way says a lot about him, his character, the way he's evolved as a goaltender, and the team didn't crumble in front of him.
Joe, We've seen Zeev Buium get his first NHL points. What have we learned through him through, what is now just, 3 NHL games? Well, what are you seeing from him? What do you like so far?
He's getting better. Played a series high, right? I mean, granted, he's been in the NHL 3 games now, but he played almost 15 minutes last night. Did have the assist. Still a couple of times where he turns the puck over. He maybe tries to overhandle it a little bit, but those are things that he will continue to get used to at the speed and pace of not only the NHL level, but the Stanley Cup playoffs. I think it's remarkable at 19 years of age to jump into this spot and be able to earn the trust of the coaches. I still think it's very much game to game, right? Like if he looks overmatched or overwhelmed at some point in this series, or if the Wild are fortunate enough to advance beyond, you have John Merrill and Declan Chisholm. You can pop back in there. Both guys played a ton in the regular season, and the staff's very comfortable with them. But Buium gives you an element on the power play that allows Rossi now to jump to the second power play unit, which makes that stronger for maybe the half minute or so they'll get on each advantage. Zach Bogosian, I thought, had a good game last night for Minnesota playing alongside Buium. So he is a sort of a secret weapon the Wild didn't have until game 1. They're fortunate to have him. I think he's going to continue to get better. Would like to see him shoot the puck. I think 18,000 fans last night agreed with that. Every time the puck was on the kid's stick, they were yelling shoot. So I'd like to see him pull the trigger a little bit, and not just because the fans are yelling it or because it looks like the easy play right off the hop, right? Like these guys are world class. They pick their head up. If they don't have a lane, they're not going to shoot the puck most times. But I've heard this in past from coaches and players. Like if a power play has a guy on it that won't shoot, well, the penalty kill is not going to respect it, right? And Buium can shoot. We saw it in his collegiate career. So I think he probably, again, I haven't talked to John Hines about this, but my estimation, as this series moves along, power play opportunities, if Buium can show he's willing to trigger the puck, he's willing to fire pucks, that will force Vegas to come out and front him. He doesn't always have to shoot, but if you show him, I'm always deferring to these world-class players to my right, my left, and down in the corner in front of the net, I don't know that Vegas is going to keep pressuring him up top. So I think that's something that Buium, at least in my opinion, just shoot it occasionally. Show him you're willing to shoot it. That'll force the PK up there. That'll open up the flanks.
Radio Joe O'Donnell via Twitter at Wild Joe Radio. If you would like to follow him as 9 to Noon does, we're talking about another dominating Minnesota Wild win last night. I mean, it got a little tenuous in the third period, as Charch and Joe talked about, but overall, dominating final score. They lead this series 2-1. And Saturday on KFAN around 3 o'clock, we'll hear Joe and Tom once again. Good for Marco Rossi, right? I mean, he scored his first postseason goal. Overall, how did he play? I mean, there was some Rossi-related terrorism into the game with the way he played in the first 2 and stuff. You have a trained eye. We don't. What do you think?
I think he was better. I think the goal certainly helps. I thought that Yakov Trenyan and Justin Brazeau were pretty impactful in the games in Vegas as well, no matter who they were playing with. Obviously, the ice time for Rossi diminished, especially tail end of the regular season. Didn't play a whole lot that game in Vancouver, which was a must-win game. You start to see trends like that, it means something's going on, right? Either the coaches aren't confident in his game, maybe he's just not playing to a standard. Whatever it is, he's got to fight his way out of it. So to go onto the fourth line, to not pout, to go about his business, he had some skill there and some hockey IQ and a decent face-off ability to 2 big wingers that have thrown a ton of hits in the series and made their impact. I really think that if he can produce at all down there, and they can give you some minutes, which they did last night, looking at the final sheet there, 8 minutes for Brazeau, Trenyan played just over 8 minutes, Rossi with some power play time, almost 11 minutes. Like I do think that, again, that's not a ton of minutes for Rossi, who could probably give you 18 to 20 on a good night. But if he's able to produce and those guys aren't a liability defensively, I really do think it can be a productive line. And Marcus Johansson got hurt last night from Minnesota, missed the back half of the third period. I don't have an update on his status, but maybe Rossi gets an elevated role because of it.
Time for a few more.
Joe, Vegas has allowed 6 turnover goals. That is the most of any playoff team. Do you think that's more a result of sloppy Vegas play, or are the Wild forcing those opportunities?
It's both. It's uncharacteristic of Vegas because of their experience and their skill, but it's the Wild. And Minnesota changed its approach. You got to remember, in the 3-game regular season series, Vegas never saw a full Wild team. One game there was no Eriksson and Kaprizov. One game it was no Middleton and Brodin. One game it was no Kaprizov and Spurgeon. Like, the 3 times they played the Wild, they never played them with this lineup. And then you add in a kid like Zeke Buium. And the Wild kind of changed their approach a little bit, Charch. They upped the pressure. John Hines told me before game 1, we want to pressure up the ice. Too many times in the regular season series, Vegas had free ice to enter the zone, to hit their defense coming late. It's not a recipe for success. The Wild changed that. In game 1, they pinched their defense. They forechecked like crazy. Bruce Cassidy, the Golden Knights head coach, said it after game 1, which Vegas won. But he was like, hey, he noted to the media, this is not what we saw from the Wild. So they had to make an adjustment. The way they were rimming pucks, the way they positioned their wingers on their breakouts. And the Wild haven't flinched. They've continued to pressure, to pinch, to force Vegas. You look at all the giveaways in game 2. The Golden Knights turned a puck over like crazy, and the Wild made them pay. And I saw more of that as game 3 moved along. Maybe not so much early. Vegas came out, they were hitting the Wild, they established their zone time, but as that game moved along, they started to fumble some pucks away. That'll be something to watch the rest of the series. Can the Wild be smart defensively, yet pressure Vegas into turning pucks over? Because the one thing that Bruce Cassidy has said about his team, and he said it several times in the series, if you watch his pressers, when his team gets in trouble, it's puck management. Again, you wouldn't think with a veteran team that'd be the case, but they start coughing pucks up, and the Wild counter and their rush game's on point. Minnesota's going to get some more offense in the series.
Hey, Joe, Vegas goaltender, well respected too. Aiden Hill got yanked. What was he civil like last night? Like, what led to that?
Honestly, I don't think he's been great in any of the 3 games. He made a couple of saves in game 1 to keep them in front. He made the nice 2 saves in a row on Eriksson early in game 2, then a glove save on Boldy, and I was thinking to myself, oh boy, if he's locked in, the Wild will be in one here. Eventually, Minnesota won that game, and then in game 3, the first puck that came towards his blue paint went under his paddle. Fortunately for him, hit his pad, but it was just a centering feed that he didn't handle well. And I thought to myself, okay, there might be something here for Minnesota. They've torched him at his 5-hole throughout the series, especially in game 2. Game 1, Boldy beat him between the legs. So I think they found something there, and maybe that had Hill thinking a little bit, because they kind of picked him apart a little bit. And the tough thing probably for Aiden Hill is the Golden Knights don't give up a lot of shots. And the Wild certainly don't get a lot of shots. In the season series now, we're talking about 3 playoff games and 3 regular season games. The 31 shots Minnesota had last night in game 3, by far and away the most they've had anytime they played them. And Hill only made it through 2 periods. So he's not seeing a lot of rubber, but the chances he's seeing with Boldy and Kaprizov buzzing the way they've been have been really good scoring chances, and he hasn't been up to the task. So he's been deep in his net a lot, which is kind of his MO. They got him out of game 3, excuse me. Akira Schmid is a 24-year-old Swiss goalie. He wrapped up last night's game. I'm very interested to see what Bruce Cassidy does. He said after the game, it'll be a big-time practice day for Hill today. He probably needs a good practice. Wow. And he said they partially pulled him because it's an early start Saturday, thinking ahead in the series. I don't know, man. I know he's won a Stanley Cup. He won 11 games for them in that playoffs in 2023 when they hoisted Lord Stanley's Cup, but if I'm Bruce Cassidy, I don't know I run the risk of going down 3-1 in the series because your goalie's fighting it right now. It'll be interesting to see who they start on Saturday.
My man, that intel that you pulled out of that middle basket on Aiden Hill and like the rest of that was high end. Here's the last one. Does Kaprizov look as sharp and spry now as he did the first couple of months when he had all those points and everything?
Yep, absolutely. I could give you a long answer on it, or I could just tell you you're spot on, PA. He looks himself. He looks like the Hart Trophy candidate that he was. When he came back there in January for 3 games, he didn't look himself. And then he had the procedure done and missed so much time. And when he came back at the end of the regular season, you saw flashes, but probably wasn't what we're seeing now. I really believe, and I don't know this, but I believe that after the regular season ended, he got those 4 games, and he got a rest day, he got a practice day, he got a rest/travel day to Vegas, he got a practice day. And I just feel like for a world-class player like him, The 4 games probably gave him a little taste and some timing. A couple of them were against decent opponents and playoff-like atmospheres. And then just that practice time and that rest time and getting more comfortable and more reps with his line mates. The timing seems there. He's been aggressive, taking the puck to the net, shooting pucks. I still would like to see him shoot more, but his edge work is phenomenal, as we know. When he's got that Mohawk 10-2 going and he's wheeling around the offensive zone, he's as electric as anybody, my friend. And,
hey.
It's awesome to see.
Nicholas Hague tried to maim or decapitate anybody last night?
I don't know who. I think it was McNabb that took the run at Johansson that dinged him up. Hague was pretty uneventful in that hockey game. You know what? Marcus Foligno's setting a tone in this series. You love to see it. And Ryan Hartman as well. The good news for Minnesota is if they have a passenger or two early in a game, it doesn't seem to stay that way. Guys are in the middle of this fight. The leadership group is dragging anybody that's not ready into the fire. I just hope the Wild start game 4 on time because Vegas is going to push. The crowd should be electric. Chance for Minnesota to really put a stamp on this series Saturday afternoon.
Fantastic work on the radio last night and all series. Thank you very much for joining us early on this Friday, and have a wonderful day. Okay, Joe?
Thanks, guys. If you need a basket, let me know.
Yeah, for sure.
Got plenty.
Some fish and some loaves in that middle basket with some good takes. That's at Wild Joe Radio via the tweet machine. Follow him if you are so inclined. Back to football. We have some odd audio coming up around the corner, and Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, general manager for the Minnesota Vikings, joins us at about 10:30. You're listening to KFAN.
Oh, tasty high note. Oh, hi, don't mind me. I'm practicing my new baritone sax. I just heard PayPal's paying for people's stuff every day for 100 days, and there's 10 million up for grabs. All you have to do is use PayPal checkout online. So there's never been a better time to buy a few things off the old wish list. Like this leaf blower! PayPal can pay for your purchase. The Great PayPal Checkout.
No purchase necessary. Ends July 18th. See official rules at paypal.com/thegreatpaypalcheckout/terms. Participating merchants only must use PayPal checkout online. Coverage of up to $100 and eligible purchases per card.
Hi, I'm Cindy Crawford, and I'm the founder of Meaningful Beauty. Well, I don't know about you, but I never liked being told, oh, wow, you look so good for your age. Why even bother saying that? Why don't you just say you look great at any age, every age? That's what Meaningful Beauty is all about. We create products that make you feel confident in your skin at the age you are now.
Meaningful Beauty. Beautiful skin at every age. Learn more at meaningfulbeauty.com.
In the heat of battle, your squad relies on you. Don't let them down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Dominate every match with next-level speed, seamless streaming, and performance that won't quit, so you can push your gameplay beyond performance with Intel Core Ultra processors. For the next era of gaming, upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E and maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search. Power up at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo. Avoiding your unfinished home projects because you're not sure where to start? Thumbtack knows homes, so you don't have to. Don't know the difference between matte paint finish or satin, or what that clunking sound from your dryer is? With Thumbtack, you don't have to be a home pro. You just have to hire one. You can hire top-rated pros, see price estimates, and read reviews all in the app. Download today.
Thanks for watching via KFAN.com/watch. Brought to you by Heating and Cooling 2. Heat, cool, 2.com. And for those of you listening on the iHeartRadio app, if not this segment, I've already compiled a bunch of terrific draft and even a couple of hockey team related talkbacks. You hit that microphone on the app, give us up to your best 30 seconds. Toss them on in. I screen them for FCC violations, hopefully better than I did a couple days ago. And we're going to be playing those throughout 9 to noon today.
All right. We have a question that we will address here. And in the next segment, perhaps up to Minnesota Vikings general manager Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah joining the fray. That takes place about 36 and a half minutes from now. He'll be calling 9 to noon, and we're grateful for that. The question would be, are the Minnesota Vikings set on offense, or do we need more? Ooh. Are we set on offense, or do we need more? The Vikings pick 97th tonight and I have a couple for now over the weekend, but more on that coming up shortly, including those elite talkbacks beginning at about 10 o'clock. Meanwhile, we have opted to dust off an oldie but goodie, and it sounds like this.
It's Odd Audio on hashtag 9 to noon.
I remember writing that for Dave Allen. I just put 9 to noon. I didn't anticipate he would actually articulate the hashtag, but that's my fault.
When we said oldie but goodie, that would qualify as an oldie but a goodie.
If you put it on the teleprompter, he will say it. Draft party last night. First of all, terrific work, gentlemen. And, of course, balancing it starts at 7 on the Fan. You got puck drop for the Wild at 8:20, so you jump over down the hall to Twin Cities News Talk, AM 1130. But late stages, you guys know this better than I do. Draft parties and draft party shows can be long. And we got talkers. We maybe have a lack of talkers. We got super cool guests. Then we don't have guests. We got a lot of people with a lot of opinions. We got smoke machines. We got the water bottles are running out. Everything's nutty.
They can be intoxicatingly good, no doubt, no matter if you take an offensive lineman or whatever, you know?
Absolutely. So celebration. Eventually the team takes Donovan Jackson. But you guys are just pumped for this pick. And the Vikings are on the clock. But again, draft party shows can get a little long. Here's Pete Bursich pondering what the Vikings might do at 24 if they go defense.
And we talked about the 3 defensive names going into this, and with Evan Morey, Will Johnson, and Malarkey Starks. I mean, you've got 3 defensive names.
Did he play with Mike Malarkey? Maybe that's it.
Hold on. The analyst sitting shotgun as he does during Vikings broadcast. Let's get those defensive names in our pockets once more, Mr. Bursich.
And we talked about the 3 defensive names going into this, and with Evan Morey, Will Johnson, and Malarkey Starks. I mean, you've got 3 defense.
Draft party shows could get a little long, can't they, gentlemen?
Yeah. You know, I enjoy unpacking, studying, and reading the Holy Bible. And I especially, at the end of the Old Testament, enjoy as it segues to the New Testament, and studying, unpacking, and securing the context with the book of Malachi.
I always love that one.
I mean, that book of Malarkey at the end of the Old Testament is just unbelievable.
I always love
what a
that
great
one.
segue into Matthew.
It's Odd Audio on hashtag 9 to noon.
Not to be outdone.
Here it comes.
By Pete Bursich.
I do something?
No, it's me.
Pick 24. Vikings are on the clock.
What happened?
And at this stage, I mean, you think about it, guys, and I at some point maybe you'll talk about just being there when Booker goes 12. What the heck was that? Always thought Zabel would go first, right? Yeah. Zabel goes at 18 to the Seahawks. So still both out of the mix at 24.
That Booker pick left me punch drunk.
A little bit. I thought maybe skill player potentially, like that would have been. And I forget where Tet McMillan went, but maybe a Matthew Golden at 12, maybe a running back at 12, unless they're happy with Rico Dowdle.
Mm-hmm.
But so the pick 24, you're scrambling to figure out what's still available. Jahdae Barron, corner goes off the board. Okay, here we are though. We still got a bevy of options. Even ones that potentially weren't options, but Charch was still excited about. Let's listen.
A dark horse 4th name for you is the Michigan defensive tackle. If you really believe defensive tackle's a need for the Vikings, and I think at this point we could look at Kenneth Grant.
No, he got drafted.
Did he go earlier?
Yeah, man, he got drafted.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like doing a fantasy football draft with you, and all of a sudden, an hour into it, somebody goes, Derrick Henry. Anybody taking him?
I was that guy.
I was that guy in that moment.
Dark horse, Kenneth Grant.
Well, in fairness, we had such a cavalcade of interviews that I think we're chatting with Blake Cashman or something like that, and like somebody's asking a question, then I'm looking up at the big screen at U.S. Bank Stadium. I'm like, damn, Tyler Booker just went 12th? That's a metaphorical fly in the proverbial ointment. So I can understand how.
Well, thank you for covering for me. I appreciate that. And that is what was happening at that time.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the middle of an interview. We just got Tyler Booker, went, and then
I like how you said
snuck in
Michigan defensive tackle, and I had written down Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant. I'm like, ooh,
yeah.
I mean, do I got like a Milton Williams back there that I haven't heard about or something?
Well, and in going to Miami, without looking at their depth chart, like corner was a conversation because of some Jalen Ramsey related negativity, or at least maybe a contract kerfuffle. I forget exactly what the situation is there with him. But Kenneth Grant, you guys can tell me if I'm the idiot here. Happy to be. I am often. I hadn't heard Kenneth Grant's name top half of the draft in like 6 weeks.
Right.
So it was always kind of anticipated to where you were ultimately going. The dark horse Charch, in 9 out of 10 scenarios that I could have envisioned at 24, Kenneth Grant is actually an option. And so that was kind of part, again, him and Booker and a couple other spots where it kind of had you scratching your head, seeing guys go off the board so early. It was kind of surprising at times last night.
Well, yeah. So I like now you're defending me, which I appreciate. And
that was an egregious mistake.
I had Kenneth Grant pegged at pick 31. He wasn't on my radar to go way up at 13. So just threw me off a little bit. But that was not my only mistake. I also managed to put Kyron Williams on the Chargers at one point in the night. Yep, did that. That was pretty impressive as well.
I'll find that audio.
Yeah. That's in there somewhere. That's not terribly thrilling, but yeah.
I think I called AM 1130 K-Talk, and then I was admonished by the program director saying K-Talk's too pedestrian. It's KTLK, just like KFAN's too pedestrian, even though 99.8% of the world says KFAN. Yeah. So you got to be KFAN, and K-Talk is too pedestrian. But, hey, the draft into Donovan Jackson sounded fantastic in AM last night. Thank you very much for those who listened. We have some talkbacks to play back, some round one from the NFL draft, quick twitch that we will share, and all of that is around the corner, walking you up to General Manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, joining about 10:30. This is KFA.
Do you own a business that's ready to thrive? It's time to let Intuit QuickBooks take things like unpaid invoices and tracking expenses off your plate so you can take things to the next level. Intuit QuickBooks is an all-in-one business platform that can help with those day-to-day tasks like invoicing and expenses. Manage and grow your business all in one place. Intuit QuickBooks, your way to money. Money movement services are provided by Intuit Payments, Inc., licensed as a money transmitter by the New York State Department of Financial Services.
Oh, tasty high note. Oh, hi, don't mind me. I'm practicing my new baritone sax. I just heard PayPal's paying for people's stuff every day for 100 days, and there's 10 million up for grabs. All you have to do is use PayPal checkout online. So there's never been a better time to buy a few things off the old wish list, like this leaf blower. PayPal could pay for your purchase. The Great PayPal Checkout.
No purchase necessary ends July 18th. See official rules at paypal.com/thegreatpaypalcheckout/terms. Participating merchants only must use PayPal checkout online. Coverage of up to $100 and eligible purchases per card.
You know, some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com, ODOO.com.
Are you still quoting 30-year-old movies? Have you said cool beans in the past 90 days? Do you think Discover isn't widely accepted? If this sounds like you, you're stuck in the past. Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. And every time you make a purchase with your card, you automatically earn cash back. Welcome to the now. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.